Kidoki. Alright, we're back doing every 17th, and I hope that everything is recording just fine. I feel like it's a little prayer I say every single time I start this thing so that I don't have to cry about it later. Maybe I can get a heads up on whether or not it's working okay. Yeah, all the audio and good. Alright. Alright, so we're playing as the kid, and it is use route that we're doing. Here's a summary of what happened last episode. The kid had a premonition about the second floor collapsing. He doesn't know why he's seeing these premonitions or anything. At one point he had an argument with Tsugumi about it, but I'll get into that in a second. You found out that her father disappeared at Leimu 17 years ago when there was a big accident, but all the coverage of the incident was covered up. That's suspicious as hell. You mentioned that her mom works at Lemay too, despite her being an archaeologist researching the third eye and the ability to see a dimension beyond the one that you exist in. And you tries to remember the password for her mom's computer, her account, but can't figure it out until I came and I showed her how to do baby's first puzzle. But then we were locked out, so it doesn't even matter. Anyway, let's see. So I had an argument. I walked in on an argument with Tsugumi and Sarah, where Tsugumi slapped a pendant out of her. Sarah ran to it and clutched it close to her chest. Very suspicious. And then, don't know what the argument was about, but I went off after her to see what the hell is going on and found out that, like, Tsugumi understands that I'm seeing visions, but she's telling me that what I'm seeing is just the past, and I'm just repeating it. Tsugumi has issues another warning. If you continue to let yourself be used by them on the 7th day, you'll die. And she's talking about everyone else on the ship. So I'm starting to suspect everybody, and I don't know why anybody would lie to me, but Tsugumi keeps feeding me these messages, and I have no idea what is going on. Anyway, let's continue. Okay. When I entered the office, I saw Yu. She was slouching loosely in a chair. Yu, what are you doing here? Oh, hey kid, how you doing? Yu swiveled her neck around and greeted me. She couldn't be bothered to shift her body. Where is everybody else? What happened to Sarah? Oh, she's resting in the decompression chamber below the infirmary. Yu straightened up. She added that Sarah said that she wanted to be alone, so I'd best not bother her. I see. Sora had to do work in the control room. She's checking and adjusting the complex. What about Takeshi? I don't know what's up with that Kuronari. When he left, he said he was saying something about wanting a drink. He may be having a beer or something. Huh? A beer in Leimu? Yu shrugged as if to say, who knows. What about you? How did things go with Tsugumi? Oh, not good. She wouldn't listen. She just took off somewhere. I decided not to say anything about Tsugumi's silly suspicions. Tsugumi's silly suspicion sounds like a good spin-off of this game. Well, I guess that's how things stand then. So, what are you doing here, Yu? You can't access the database for a while, right? Right. So, I'm taking a break. Right now, I'm looking at Leimu through the monitors and trying to think of a way to escape. I haven't thought of anything yet. Yu went back to typing on the keyboard. The images of the monitor changed again and again. Takeshi appeared in one of them. Hey, that's Takeshi. Looks like it. Is that the rest area? It looks like it. I wonder what he's doing. Oh, who knows? Takeshi was sitting on a bench. He had a can of beer in his hand. Wow, good job, Yu. As you said it, it looked like he was having a drink. So there really is beer here. Thinking about it, I realized that Takeshi knew the kiosk's freezers by heart. Now. Maybe it was something that an employee or someone had sneaked in. But I didn't understand why there was one more beer. Rather, why the can was open and sitting next to Takeshi. It'll get flat if he leaves it like that. Of course there was no one there. Takeshi lifted the can in the direction of the can next to him and muttered something. But we couldn't hear what. I wondered if he was drunk. He's most likely having some sort of cheers with Sora. He looked dangerous? Or maybe he drank both of them himself, I don't know. Jeez, what is that fool up to? You punched some keys and switched to a less unsightly scene. Okay, time to take a break. You jumped out of her chair and headed for the coffee machine. I want one too. Alright. Where's the sugar and milk? What? You take sugar and milk? You're like a kid with a sweet tooth. I can drink it however I want, can't I? Sure, whatever. I think that they're in the drawer. I took the sugar pot and the milk bottle out of the drawer. Coffee is coffee because it's bitter. You said that as she poured coffee into our cups. Coffee with impurities is like a hamburger made out of chicken. Someday, you'll understand, kid. Here's your widow milk drink, baby. Oh, shut up. I dribbled a little milk into the cup that she gave me. I went to add sugar, but there was no spoon, so I decided to pour from the sugar pot. You know that black coffee is bad for your stomach, right? You know that... I know that, and 100 other things that are bad, but smoking is bad for you, and there are still smokers. Besides, when you're tired, sweet things give you a surge of energy. I was in an argumentative mood, but then my hand slipped and the sugar went cascading into my cup. No, no! There you go. That should give you a surge of energy until tomorrow. What a bitch. Hey, I was thinking. Thinking what? I didn't tell you? This is silly. You said that and sipped your coffee indifferently. What I said is that I can sense the future. I decided to tell you about my theory. I really wanted to hear what she thought. I mean, yesterday in the generator room, the trouble this morning with Takeshi, and when I first met Sarah. That's just deja vu. Deja vu? When you've done something, but you can't shake the feeling that you've seen or done it before. You know, that's really just when you have some memory deep in your mind that makes you feel something familiar. It's kind of a hallucination. It's not. This wasn't like that. I think that I've experienced the same kind of thing in the past. And? What's your point? I think that maybe I traveled through time. And then I came back here to the past from the future? I think it helps explain my lost memory somehow. And? How does it explain your memory? That's hard to explain, but... What is going on in that head of yours? You got it all twisted up in there to make you come up with some crazy idea about traveling through time? Or that you're one of those people that believe in sun circles around the earth? But right now, this... Okay. You held her palm out to me like a traffic cop. Okay, let's just say for argument's sake that you did travel through time. So what? What connection could that possibly have with your missing memory? You make absolutely no sense. Listen, there is no such thing as time travel. Theoretically and scientifically, it's impossible. I decided to drink my coffee. Ugh. It was so sweet that it almost made me want to vomit. Water flows downhill, time flows forward. It's simple. It's just like a river. There's no going backwards. But, I groaned. But I wasn't giving into this without a fight. Are you sure? Water doesn't always flow down, does it? Now what? Are you going to try and explain it all to me with some anti-gravity substance? Or something like space isn't a vacuum but is full of ether? That's not what I mean. It's not like that. What I mean is, I looked around the room. There had to be something. Something to convince you, like... My eyes stopped on the coffee machine. The water in the lower container was boiling, warmed by flame of the alcohol lamp. The water was siphoned up the central pipe into the upper chamber by the pressure of the steam. This is it. Look, water doesn't always flow down, see? You didn't say anything. She simply looked at the gurgling water. Hey, are you listening? That's it! You suddenly stood up shouting. Oh no! Ouch! You bumped my arm and spilled my coffee everywhere. It got on my arm and her coat, but you ignored it, handed her cup to me, and went bursting out of the room. She shot out of there like a rocket. I quickly put the cups down and went after her. You was heading to the west. She climbed the emergency corridor, ran down the spiral staircase. When I finally caught up with her, I found myself in the central control room. It's 8:10 p.m. You and I dashed into the room. There was Sora. She was in front of the console with both hands together. She was quiet, her eyes closed. It was like she was meditating. The LED of the computer in the room was responding by flickering repeatedly. But Sora noticed our presence. She opened her eyes and smiled. What is it, Tanaka-san? Kid-san? I thought of a way to escape! You shouted in between breaths. A way to escape? Really, you did? Well... Are you alright? I'm fine. I'll be fine after I rest. Deep breath. Deep. You put her hand on her chest as she breathed deeply, trying to catch her breath. Then... Hey Sora, why can't we escape from here? Stupid, it's because Leimu is flooded with water. Enough, I'm not asking you, be quiet. Sora, answer me. It is as Kid-san said, it's because Leimu is inundated with seawater. The water has blocked the passage to Incel Mo via this elevator and the emergency stairs. Thus, all avenues of escape have been closed off. Okay, so you mean that if we could get rid of all the water in Leimu, we could escape? Yes, however, with the limited wastewater pump still functioning, it is impossible. It's no problem. You stopped Sora at that point. The floating island has to have a high-pressure intake fan, right? A high-pressure fan? A device to send in a mix of high-pressure gas to increase air pressure in the complex. Yes, it is exactly as you say. In that case, why don't we use the high-pressure fan to pump in the high-pressure gas, which will then push out the water? If you blow air into a straw that's in water, the water comes out of the straw, right? Oh, I get it. Theoretically, it is possible. I told you, let's do it. And it is one of the methods that I considered initially. Huh? In other words, unfortunately, it is still impossible. Why? Because we can't activate the fan from here. It is the same as with the reason with the elevator is out of order. That cause is unclear. It is very unfortunate. Yu's shoulders slumped dejectedly. Yu... I put my hand on Yu's back. She turned and smiled an empty smile. Damn. I thought it was a good idea too. I guess I'll just have to rethink it. Her words sounded devoid of the spark she had shown earlier. Huh? Only then did Yu finally notice the coffee stains. Oh yuck, this is gonna stain for sure! There is a laundry room right next to the changing room. Why don't you wash it there? Fortunately, you have a change of clothes as well. That's true. Yu took the area of her coat that was stained black and held it to her nose. Ugh, yuck. This stinks like sugar. You mean it smells like coffee? That's what I wanted to say, but I just barely held my tongue. It was a new day. Yu said that she was going to change her clothes and had gone up to the second floor. Sora went back to work. Sarah, she was probably sleeping in the compression chamber. Takeshi was supposedly filthy drunk in the park rest area. Tsugumi hadn't come back, and I had no idea where she'd gone. And it is, I guess that's supposed to be noon 7 a.m. Just midnight. Okay. Me, I was in the conference room. In the middle of the table was a three-dimensional image of Lemu. I was staring at it, trying to come up with an escape plan. At that point, I hadn't even hit upon a single one. Any plan would fall apart because... Any plan would fall apart before I even got it fully developed because of my limited knowledge. But I didn't intend to give up. I thought if I could just find a starting point, I wanted to get back at you somehow. The door opened and somebody came in. Looking back, I saw that it was you. She had changed from her into her work uniform. Oh, so this is where you are. I was looking for you. The ribbon on her outfit shook rhythmically as she walked towards me. Are your clothes dry? Nope, the dryer is broken. These clothes will do for now, for a while anyway. Hey, what are you doing with that Lemu hologram? Just looking. You aren't trying to think of a way out, are you? Well, all I got is time on my hands. I lied to her. Embarrassed, I couldn't tell her the truth. Well, enough about that. Aren't you gonna go to sleep? I drink too much coffee, so I can't sleep. Besides, there's lots of things I want to think about. How about that? Same here. What? The coffee or the thinking? Both. Wow, that's weird. You laughed dryly as she said that. Hey, how about keeping me company? Are you going somewhere? Yeah, well, in order to think, you gotta be in the right place to put you in the mood. Someplace in mind? Yeah, the place connected with the third eye. The third eye. When the third eye opens, true wisdom is apparent and all becomes visible. The power of the ancients. Ultimate knowledge. Proof of the transcendental state beyond that of normal people. The place that you led me was... the Lemurian ruins, I guess. Shall we go in? You walked towards a stone gate which rose out of the dimly lit dome. Can I ask you a question before we go in? Huh? Sure. Why did the Lemurian ruins have something to do with the third eye? Oh, that. That? I lied. What? To tell you the truth, they're not related. There's no meaning at all. I just thought that if I said that, then you'd come along with me. Thinking about things all by myself doesn't really suit me, so I need someone else around. Are you mad? No, not really. I was just thinking that you don't seem like the type to be governed by random illogical thoughts. Really? Yeah. But actually, there might be a connection. You turned her gaze at the ruins. I told you about how my mom was doing her own research while pretending to study the Lemurian continent, right? It seems like she was completely hooked on researching the third eye. Do you know why? Because she was conducting research in the name of Lemuria? Yeah, so my mom wanted to study the third eye, pretended that there was a connection with Lemuria, and wrote about it. One theory is that the people of Lemuria were giant apes that were 4 meters tall, that they had walnut-colored skin and there was no differences between males and females. They laid eggs and they communicated via telepathy. And that they had a third eye in the back of their heads. Telepathy and the third eye. This has something to do with the third perspective, drawing on the idea that our vertebrate predecessors had 3 eyes. So ancients, especially the Lemurians, may well have been races that mastered the use of this power. And based on the facts discovered, I conclude that the origin of the third eye is Lemuria. She even wrote trumped up papers on the topic, even though they were really totally unrelated. I wish you'd tell me more about the third eye. Sorry, I'll tell you some other time. I don't really feel like going into it right now. You and I crossed through the gate and entered the ruins. Ooh, this is the first time we've ever been inside of the ruins. It was darker inside, and the pathways were interwoven like a maze. The lighting was surreal, and the dim lights in some areas were bluish-white lights elsewhere. Occasionally, a hologram of some deep-water fish would shine into view. The ruins were also slightly flooded with water, which had the effect of making them appear more like ruins at the bottom of the ocean. I wondered how far we'd walked. Finally, we came to an open space, kind of like an auditorium. The room had a high ceiling. There were rock pillars, called obelisks, scattered around the area. A few of them were broken, collapsed, or crumbling. Looking closely, I saw that a mock relief was carved into the wall. I absentmindedly stared at the wall. You walked over to one of her collapsed obelisks and sat down, hugging her knees. We get a special illustration of you. This is a strange place, huh? It's called the Sun Temple. Sun? That reminded me that I had seen an image of a sun disk on the relief on the wall. There's a number of theories about the precise location of the Lemurian continent, but no one really knows where it was. But most people agree that it was located near the belt of the tropical rainforest just below the equator. You reverted to speaking like an employee, which she was, and started giving me an explanation of the place. Members of our research staff here at Lemu have put forth hypotheses that the people of Lemuria worship the sun. You paused and shrugged. So, I guess that's why we built this temple. I see. I sat down next to you and nodded. A sun temple at the bottom of the ocean. Doesn't that strike you as kind of ironic? I wondered if she was talking about the continent that had sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Or maybe she had meant us. Did you think of anything? What do you mean? Ways to get out. Oh, I shook my head. I thought so. I can't think of any other ways. If we could just get that high-pressure inflow machine to work. You know, I thought this through. I think we're being lied to by someone. Huh? What are you talking about? We have a flashback of Tsugumi. She's like, you are just being used by them. Tsugumi's words flashed through my mind. I mean, I don't think that what happened here was just a simple accident. I think that somebody trapped us here on purpose. She's angry now. Really, it's the only thing that makes sense. There's just too much that doesn't add up. Mayo's friends, Kurinari's friends, my coworkers should all know that we're trapped here, right? So why doesn't anyone come? Even if there was some reason that they can't get inside, divers should at least be knocking on the windows. Besides, we still have power. Only the communication system to the outside is down. We still don't have any idea what caused the alarm before the accident and the blackout. And we don't know why the high-pressure intake fan stopped working either. It's almost as if, everything was set up to trap us here. I didn't know what to say to her. It all made sense to me. Actually, I had been feeling the same thing. The reason I hadn't been able to realize it was maybe that I didn't want to face reality. I sneaked a look at Yu's face. She clutched her knees and turned her helpless gaze towards the water surface. Her lips were a bluish color, but it wasn't all the fault of the light. Yu was always more upbeat than everyone around her. She had a powerful presence for me, but right then she seemed very small and fragile. No matter how tough she acted, Yu was still just a girl at heart. It had been a quick 3 days since the accident. It only made sense that she would be feeling the strain. Swallowed up in the dark, deep ocean, we had lost the warm spring sun. I can't let her go on like this. I have to cheer her up somehow. That's how I felt deep in my heart. And she's trying to fake smiling now. Friends help each other, right? Kid, you can see the future, can't you? Tell me how things are going to turn out. I think we'll be saved. Is that a premonition or just an optimistic guess? Of course, I wanted to say a premonition, but I couldn't. Saying it wouldn't work. You could see through a lie. I thought about it. The third perspective, the third eye, true wisdom, omnipotent all-seeing vision. The power to make light shine once again. I thought that if only I had that, but it didn't exist. It couldn't possibly. It's not a premonition or a guess. At the very least, it's a promise. Promise? Yeah, I promise. At least I hoped it was. That was the promise that it was a promise that would materialize, that we would be able to get you out of here. I held my hand up as if taking an oath. I approached you, but then she spoke. And what if you break it? I won't. I'll see that you're safe. For sure? There's not even a 1% chance that you're wrong? There's not even a 0.0000001% possibility. I pointed my finger at my heart and promised you. She's smiling again. Talk about promising more than you can deliver. I crossed my heart and hoped to die. Oh, well. I suppose I'll have to trust you. And stick a needle in my eye. I wouldn't break my word to you. All right. It's May 4th, Thursday. It's 7:40 a.m. Spooky. I wonder who set us up. The next day after breakfast, you and I went to the security office. She tried to access the computer network again. I planned to stay and see her through it. But, tap, 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 tap. Access denied. Cannot log in with the given name at this time. It seemed like she still couldn't get past the security. Oh no, it looks like it's no good. Hugh's shoulders slumped dejectedly. Isn't there anything else you can do? I could enter by cracking the system open or get Limit to remove the protection mechanism. Why don't you ask Sarah? Hugh stopped talking and looked down. Don't you want to find out what happened to your father? You have a right to know. There could be information being kept from you. So are you just going to try and get at the truth, or are you just going to let those doubts nag you forever? So what are you going to do? In the end, it's up to you, so you should do what you want to do. Hugh stared at her fingers, and then she looked at the display. Finally, her eyes drifted up at the ceiling. Hugh gave a nod after a while. It might be a lot to ask, but I'll ask Mayo for her help. Good. She wasn't wrong. She didn't need to feel intimidated. All right, I'll go ask her for you. With those energetic words, I bounded out of the security office. I was sprinting down the corridor. Wait a second. Where is Sarah anyway? Finally, I realized something. I should have checked on the monitor in the security office, but I thought I'd look stupid going all the way back again. I thought I might ask Sora, but then I saw Sarah cutting across the far corridor. I immediately went after her. Sarah went into the infirmary. I went in after her. Sarah! What? Jeez, you scared me! Sarah jumped startled. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to surprise you. I'm exhausted, so just cut me some slack. My mind and body are shot. Sarah's haggard expression told the same story. I remembered the fight the day before with Tsugumi. She probably had a sleepless night. Were you thinking of going to sleep now? Yep. Oh. Huh? Is there something wrong? Actually, I explained the details to Sarah about Yu's father gone missing and about working at Leimu to find clues about his fate. That her search was being blocked by some protective mechanism in Leimu. Wow, I had no idea about any of that. Yeah, well, you and I can't figure it out alone. So, what do you want me to do? Well, we were hoping that you could try taking out Lemieux's security so that we can get back into the network. Cracking the security, huh? I feel bad asking you when you're so tired, but could you do it for her? Sure. If you don't mind, she'd... Oh. I said sure already. Really? Yep. I mean, it's to help knock you, right? I can't very well say no. Thanks. I grabbed Sarah's hand and shouted happily. I was so happy I could have jumped for joy. Actually, I did jump. I was sure that things would go fine. Hey, wait, kid, what are you so happy about? Huh? All I said is that I'd help knock you. This doesn't really have anything to do with you, does it? There's nothing in this for you. So, what are you so pumped about? Well, of course I'm happy. You's a good friend of mine. Sarah stared at me suspiciously. Oh, I get it. What? Sarah patted me on the back. So that's what's been going on. Sarah shot me a sly grin. I had a bad feeling about the whole thing. Don't go imagining anything stupid, I'm just... Dear Jove, love, 'tis a beautiful thing. Fret not, dear kid, I shan't tell a soul. What the heck is Sarah talking about? Well, you is waiting, so we'd best get going. I started heading for the security office while pulling Sarah's hand, but it ended up being my arm that got yanked. Whoa! I left my balance and stumbled forward, leaning on Sarah. Without missing a beat, she grabbed my left thumb and squeezed it tight. She drew close to me and whispered in my ear, To tell you the truth, I'm a bit jealous. I'm jealous, but since it's you that she's gone for, I'll let it go. As she spoke, she pushed me away and slapped me on the back. I was getting more and more confused. What was that all about? 8:07 a.m. Alright, shall we get started? Sarah sat in the chair and popped her knuckles and faced the keyboard. Mayo, I'm really sorry. Don't worry about it, it's no big deal. You're in good hands with me. Hopefully you can help, Sarah. Trust me. Sarah started typing away at the keyboard. A number of windows popped up on the screen. First, let's try stealing a password. Her typing was as fast and rhythmical. Finally, a list of files came up. She opened up one of the files. She opened a search window and started pouring through the files. Let's see. Huh? It's not there. In this kind of OS, there's a file that should be saved here, but what are you looking for? The password hash values. What's that? It's an unchangeable string of letters or numbers created by a mathematical function when a user sets a password. What? If you can find the hash, it's easy to get a password. For example, if you save a large number of the hashes and compare them with the hash values in the password file, then can't you just make it a little easier for me to understand? Alright, it's basically like the password's fingerprint. While you can't create a person from a fingerprint, you can identify one, right? It's the same as a fingerprint. The hash always reflects the characteristics of the original. And the modulation pattern is always derived from the character lineup in the original. I still don't get it, but I think it's just beyond me. Sorry to bug you. I wiped away sweat and walked a short distance from Sarah. You watched Sarah as she leaned against the wall. I headed over to her. I wonder, it might be that there's a file that only the root authority can access. Even if I did find it, it could be randomly sequenced. That mean I'd need another message. Sarah mumbled to herself as she worked. Occasionally, Sarah would fiddle with her ribbon or tap her fingers on the desk, so it didn't seem like she was having that much luck. I wonder if this'll work. Maybe. No matter how good Sarah is, this isn't like a contest. Look, the contest Mayo won wasn't just any contest. The code that she decrypted was a 68-bit strong code. I'm not really sure how incredible that is. The strength of a code depends on how long the key is to the password when it's encrypted. The longer it is, the harder it is to decode. You still don't get it, huh? Well, how about a specific example? So if a 1-bit password is encrypted, it can come out in one of two ways. For example, say that E is the letter. With that, it can be encrypted either as a 0 or a 1 with a 1-bit key. So when this becomes a 2-bit key, the possibilities are double the code, or 4. So for the example of E, it would be either 00, 01, 10, or 11. So with a 3-bit key, What do you think happens? Let's see. There's 2 ways for a 1-bit and 4 ways for a 2-bit, so... And now I get to answer. Let's see if I can impress her. I'm gonna say 8 ways. Are there 8 ways? Bingo! You got it! So a 3-bit So a 3-bit key for the letter E could be 000, 001, 010, 011, 100, 101, 110, or 111. A total of 8 combinations. Why? It's fine. Doesn't matter. Every time a key code increases by 1 bit, the number of code patterns increases exponentially. So a 4-bit key, there would be like 16 combinations. For a 5-bit key, 32. So let's say this had a 68-bit key. 6-bit would be 64, 7-bit would be 128, 8-bit would be 256. Let's see. Can't progress. The right answer to 2 is 2 to the 68th power. You was doing calculations on the security office calculator. So the number of code patterns that it would be possible is roughly 2.951479052 times 10 to the 20th power. Or 295 quintillion, 174 quadrillion, 905 trillion, 179 billion, 352,825,856 ways. Okay. It's like looking at a hair on the whole of the planet, including the oceans. That's the code that Mayo decrypted. But you know what? She's so incredible about it that But you know what? What's so incredible about it is that Mayo was able to do it, but the method she used to do it. The method? Yeah, there's like 2 ways of finding a password. One involves difficult mathematical calculations. The other is a method that has to do with trying every key. It seems like she couldn't find an algorithm to work for the first method, so a normal person would opt for the second option, which is using all the computers around you in the world participating in the contest. If you didn't, they'd say the calculations would take tens of thousands of years. But Mayo did it differently. She didn't. Yep, she sure did. Mayo put together her own algorithm and did it using difficult mathematical calculations. And just 7 days after the competition started, she had found the password. It was too incredible. It didn't seem real. I should have been surprised, but I wasn't. It was just too hard to imagine that the girl in front of me could do all of that. Sarah, what in the world are you? This isn't right. Sarah pounded her fist on the console. It's not working? Obviously not. Stop asking me about every little thing. I'm sorry. I'm just a little irritated. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry for asking you to do this. Hey, why don't we take a break? I made some coffee. You had some coffee for the 3 of us. Here you go, Mayo. You handed Sarah her coffee. Oh, thank you so much. Sarah's coffee came with milk and the sugar bowl. Hey, didn't you say that you weren't supposed to put anything in coffee? It's okay. Mayo's a special exception. Yep. That's right. Hey, that's not fair. Oh, stop complaining. You and I are different than you, that's all. Leave it to you to change the rules. Not wanting to start an argument, I silently put my milk and sugar in my coffee. After a bit, you asked Sarah, "So, what are you doing, Mayo?" So far, I've got nothing. Sarah turned her palms out, letting them face the ceiling. She meant that she had zilch. Why are we reiterating the same points? I don't know. This is how this game works. Anyway. Ugh. Wow, if this is even tough for you, Mayo, this must be some kind of security. To tell you the truth, the security here is way above normal. I don't think that they're using just a normal firewall. They seem to have made some kind of improvements on the daemons as well. Firewall? What? A firewall is a way of protecting a network from an unknown intruder. Daemons reside inside the OS of the memory. They're responsible for all of the, okay, I get it, thanks. That's it. I'm not asking any more questions. It's that tough, huh? Sarah nodded. Normally, this kind of OS software is put together using C, so I tried attacking using DOS, but then it's been reinforced, so I'm having trouble finding a hole in security. The whole conversation, mostly Sarah talking, might as well have been in some alien language. Well, when it gets that complicated, that's pretty much my limit. I'm getting more and more suspicious about this database. I wondered what Labelick is trying to hide with all this security. Yeah, it really is strange. This isn't your average company's security system. I suddenly remembered that on the first day, Sora had told me the reason why Labelick built Lemu was a corporate secret. I wondered if it could be related. Hey, can you use that program that you worked on to win the decoding contest? Oh, that's an idea. And if we could figure out the root authority password? That's impossible. Why? I did a check on the code strength. Guess what it was? What? 136-bit. What? That means the number of possible patterns was 2 to the 136th power. Even if I had what it took to get the password, by the time you found it, Sarah held out her fist and opened it up. Boom! She was right. Lemu was gonna go in 3 days. You was depressed. Isn't there anything else you can try? Well, there is one thing. There's this one trick I haven't tried. What's that? A ray of hope returned to Yu's eyes. Everything I tried up until now has been cracking using this orthodox method. There's no such thing as orthodox cracking, is there? Sarah ignored me and went on talking. What's left is a kind of cracking that doesn't really require technology. It's called social engineering. What's that? Simply put, it's using social behavior to get information. For example, Sarah stopped as if it was hard to say. For example, finding a person that works for the company operating the server you want to attack and tricking them into giving you a password. You get it by tricking someone? You're talking about tricking Sora? Sarah nodded. There was no way we could do it. Even if we could trick Sora. Of course, it's not something I want to do either. From Sora's perspective, she can't very well leak company information. And I won't try to force it, but that's how you get information illegally. No matter if you're set on getting that information, no matter what. You don't have much choice. I just want you to know that. I couldn't think of anything to say. We were using a computer to do it, so it didn't seem real, but we were actually trying to deceive someone to get information. That's exactly what we were trying to do. A system's biggest bug is the people who use it. My mom used to say that a lot. In that way, maybe we're all bugs in Lemu's system. You stared straight at Sarah. I agree with you, Mayo. But I just can't do it. I can't do anything to deceive Sora. Even if I lose the chance to find out what happened to my dad. Mayo, I'm sorry for asking for such a difficult favor, but I think I'd rather try something else for now. Sarah looked down, but then lifted her face, grinning broadly. Okay then, we'll do it your way. Sarah faced the keyboard again. Sarah, don't worry. No matter how stubborn the system is, it was made by people and they can't be as stubborn as me. There's gotta be a weak point somewhere. Sarah began typing away. Just then, the room was bathed in a bright light. We covered our eyes. After a bit, our eyes got used to it. I squinted against the light, and there was... Ooh! It's Sora. And she's up in the sky. Wow. I've never seen her feet. This is a good time to see Sora's feet. Sora. Sora was floating in the air and surrounded by a bright ring of light. She was looking down at us from above. She was wearing a white-looking cape that fanned out like a pair of wings. She looked like an angel descending from heaven. What is it, Sora? Showing up all of a sudden. Sora? Something wasn't right. There was an abnormal traffic in Lemais, so I came to see what was going on. What are you all doing? Sora spoke politely, but her eyes were like ice. We should have expected her to see through us. But why did she seem completely different than the Sora we were used to? Please answer. Can't you tell by looking? We're trying to crack Lemais. Sarah answered coldly. Do you know the meaning of what you are all doing? Sora, please listen to what we have to say first. Yu's father was a member of the team. Was a member of the team that made Lemais. In other words, he's your father too, Sora. But he disappeared 17 years ago. There's an accident here at the same time, the cause of which is unclear. Something about the whole thing is shady. Both the accident and the disappearance of Yu's father, we think that there's probably something behind the scenes connecting them. So Yu is trying to get the facts about her dad. She's looking for the truth. Please, Sora. We aren't just asking for your help, but please, just look the other way. Sora. So that's what this is about. Tanaka-san's father was... Sora. If it was something I could do, I would like to help you. If it were possible. Sora closed her eyes for a while, and then opened them. I understand your intentions, but my duty is to protect Lemais from intruders. The cat is excited, I guess. I don't know if you heard that. Anyway. So, I'm supposed to stop you. That is how I'm designed. I alone have no choice but to obey my orders. That's not... Oh, but what should I... Sora's shoulders shook, and she had a pained look on her face. Sora, it's fine. Huh? It's alright. I think it'll work out somehow. Work out somehow? Sarah, what are you trying to do? If Sarah follows her current program, then she'll have to get in our way. But Sora doesn't want that. So I should just rewrite the program so that Sarah can take the action that she wants to take. Can you do that? Maybe. This little kid, this Sarah, I love her. Of course, that's if you want me to. Sora's shoulders quivered slightly. Sora, are you scared? Yes, a little. No, I am very scared. Let's not do this. I don't want my selfishness to cause any more problems for everyone. Be quiet, you. This has something to do with everyone, not just you. Okay, Sora, it's up to you. Hey, Sora. I'd like you to listen to me and then decide after you hear what I've got to say. Sora, you said it yourself. I am different from everyone else, but I want to be the same. You wanted to exist in the same way that we do, and we want the same thing. That's all I wanted to say. I'm not saying anything. Excuse me. Finally, Sora lifted her face and focused her eyes on Sarah. Oh. Something flickered. I don't know why that flickered, but it doesn't matter. Alright, I agree. Matsunaga-san, please do your best. As you wish. Mayo, be careful. Please don't hurt Sora. It'll be fine, trust me. Sarah typed on the keyboard. Alright then. Sorry, Sora, but I'm gonna take a look inside of you now. Don't worry, it's not like, think of it like an X-ray. Sarah continued working as we watched. As we watched her deft hands, Sora's tense expression began to relax. It was then that... Ah! Sora began to suffer. What's the matter? Oh, please stop! 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 And now we see a special image of her in the sky again, but she's purple. Sora? Scanning system error. Unauthorized access to the autonomic nervous system confirmed. What happened? How am I supposed to know? Dang, that sucks. Looks like I got snagged by the scam. What does that mean? That the surveillance program that's managing Sora discovered that it was being cracked. Oh no! Please, everyone, please escape at once! If you stay, I may harm you. Huh? Escape? Hurry! Intruder route discovered. Oh no, I'm not going to make it. Sora held out her hand. I will now carry out elimination of the intruder. Our surroundings suddenly changed. We were no longer in the security office. We were in the middle of a roiling ocean. The water swirled loudly. What is this? It appeared as if we were being sucked in to have our bodies torn to pieces. I tried to shout, but water continued to rush into my lungs and I couldn't breathe. What's happening? Is this an RSD image? You shouted that. Everyone, close your eyes! When I closed my eyes, the surrounding apocalyptic scenery seemed like a lie. The ocean current continued to amplify in my ears. It was all the work of a generated hologram, so it was no longer scary. It's no use! Please, stop! The next instant, a high-frequency scream rang out in my mind. My head hurt so much that I thought it might split open. And unable to withstand it, I took out the voice converters and I thought were causing the pain. But the sound went on. That is why I said it's no use. Sound is also being emitted from the room's speakers. As long as you are in Lemu, you cannot escape. Please stop. Ah! The pain was so intense that we were rolling around on the floor. I am warning you. Remove yourself from Lemu. Cease what you're doing immediately. No. Please, Matsunaga-san. That is enough. Please stop. I said no. I have to do this for Sora, for Nakyu and myself. I won't lose to Lablik. Sarah continued pecking at the keyboard. This is your final warning. Desist immediately. If you persist in your efforts, I cannot guarantee your safety. There has to be a hole somewhere in the security. Matsunaga-san! What? I'm not giving up, no matter what. There is no... I will, from now, release one segment of my security. Please aim for it. I am sending in a massive load of data. You mean, cause an overload? Yes. That should make my system go out of control. I can't guarantee the outcome, but it might create a gap long enough for you to rewrite the system. Okay, please do it. With my power, I can only free it up for a short amount of time. Don't miss the chance. The chance will be 1/17 of a second. Ooh, gotta get those iframes in. Got it. Okay, here I go. A Type 14 error has occurred. Now! Sorry, Sora. That's hard to say. That was the hardest thing to say. One segment of security, Sarah pushed the enter key, has discovered an impediment. A Type 7 error has occurred, approaching numerical limit. I did it. The high-frequency attack had stopped. Ow. Sora struggled with pain. Finally, her body began trembling. Sora looks bad. A Type 9 error has occurred. Division by 0 will be initiated according to the application formatting. Here goes the overload. What's happening to me? I am Akanagasaki Sora, a system engineer in Leimu's Research and Development Division and assistant in charge of operating Leimu. A part of the console sparked. I will be your guide today during your visit to Leimu. I am the protector of everyone in Leimu. I am the defender of all in Leimu. Who am I? Don't lose yourself! You are Sora! You're the Akanagasaki Sora that has been spending time with us! I have? With everyone? A Type 34 error has occurred. Unanticipated orders are attempting to be implemented. Sora started suffering even more. Oh! Cool! We get to see Sora on Sora action. This is what everybody wants. And then something surprising happened. Sora split in two. Sora is two. You mean she divided? It wasn't an illusion. Of course, given that there was an all RSD generated, there was no guarantee that it wasn't an illusion. At least, I wasn't the only one who saw it. You and Sarah seemed to be seeing it too. The new Sora attacked, grabbing the old Sora by the throat. The two of them struggled equally. The two Soras. It was like an apple split into two pieces? No, it was like an apple reproduced in whole. Non-reductional division. I figured it was the result of overloading limit. Okay, I got the root authority. Do it now. If you strike now, you can rewrite the system. A fatal system error has occurred. Data may be damaged. Immediately initiate rebuilding. In 30 seconds, the emergency reset will initiate. Hurry! Limit is resetting the system to rebuild it. You must act before that. Hurry! Okay, just be patient, Sora. Sarah typed at the keys at a furious speed. All we could do was stand helplessly and watch. 17 seconds to reset. Matsunaga-san, not yet. Just a little more. Sarah continued pounding in the code as she wiped the sweat from her brow. 7 seconds to reset. Matsunaga-san! I've got it. Sarah stood as if she were ejected from her chair. 3 seconds to reset. Okay, ninja technology technique. Time to turn the tables. Sarah struck the keyboard with her palm. The room was flooded with bright light. The two of Sora's images began to overlap. The two fused into one. At the same time, the system underwent an emergency reset. In that instant, we were all swallowed into pitch blackness. Darkness and silence. Colors and sound lost. Limit temporarily ceased functioning. And then, exactly 170 seconds later, Limit rebooted. It's 9:19 a.m. I like this happy music. The lights in the other machinery restarted. The fan of the computer gave off a quiet whirring sound. The display on the wall came online all at once. There was a surge of letters rushing across the monitor, the system startup screen. It was finally switched to the automatic operating mode. And then Sora appeared again before us. She seemed to suddenly appear floating in the air, but she still had a solid presence. She closed her eyes, and it looked as if she was embracing herself when she descended. Sora? Sora slowly opened up her eyes. Good morning, everyone! Saying that, she smiled broadly. Do you know who we are? Do you remember us? I pointed at myself. Yes, Kid-san! And Tanaka-san and Matsunaga-san as well. And Kurenari-san and Komachi-san, although they are not, of course, not present. I'm so glad you remember! Yes! Hey, Sora, I'd like to investigate Lima's sea level data. Could you help me? Of course, I'll do my best. Sora nodded slightly as she spoke. Hey, there's something I'd like to know. Sarah, what in the world did you do to rewrite the system? Well, actually I didn't change anything. I just added a patch that changes the priority duties. That is correct. My processing routine has not been altered. However, my duty is to serve you is higher priority than that is my duty to protect Limit. I don't really understand, but you mean you no longer have to stop us? That is correct. Sorry. And, gotta get rid of stuff. Sorry. and if it will be of use to you, then I will show you the internal workings of Limit. Now then, shall we jump right into the search? By all means. Hey, you. What's wrong? Yu was hunched over and quiet. She didn't look well. Thank you, Sora. And Mayo. You've done so much for me. And then Sarah said, That doesn't seem like you, Nakyu. You can't choose what you have to do to get what you want, so please just keep being yourself. Sarah waved her hands away casually with the palm of her hand. I agreed with her completely. She's right. Don't lose sight of yourself. I agree. Okay. Thank you too, kid. Huh? Me? I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? You're the one that persuaded Sarah to help me, right? And my decision was based on your words of wisdom. We want the same thing. It was your advice that helped me make up my mind. I see. So that's what happened. I felt a bit embarrassed. All right now, enough warm fuzzies. Let's start investigating. All right. So we restarted the investigation into Yu's father. The only clue that we had to start off our investigation was the name of Yu's father was Tanaka Yuichi. Tanaka Yuichi, huh? Those are two very prominent initials. Actually, the work going on beneath the surface of Limit's exterior was all done by Sora. It looked like the system still couldn't be accessed by normal means. Sarah was worn out, but she kept on typing. Nearly half an hour had passed and Sora had disappeared inside Limit. It's 9:52 a.m. Wow, what a morning, you guys. Just cracking the code, being blasted by light, and then, yeah, here we go. Sora suddenly appeared from inside of the console. Are you finished? I can only tell you what I was able to learn, but... Good work. So? What did you find out? It didn't work? No. I have uncovered various facts. In that case, hurry up and tell us. Sora? Sora stared straight at you. Her serious expression made Yu wrinkle her brow. It didn't look like the kind of situation suitable for light talk or jokes. I wondered what Sora could have found. Tanaka-san, I want you to stay calm and listen. There is a possibility that your father, Tanaka Yuichi, has already died. Huh? My father? Dead? Yes. 34 years ago. 34 years ago? Hold on. What do you mean 34 years ago? I'm only 18 years old. I was born 18 years ago. How could anything as ridiculous as my father dying 34 years ago be true? Yeah, Sora, what you're saying just doesn't match the facts. Just please stay calm and listen. I have not reached a final conclusion. I am merely saying that there is the possibility. First, I tried to search for information on Tanaka-san's father. However, there were no files pertaining to Tanaka Yuichi recorded in Leimu's database. In other words, there are no records that anyone by that name existed. So, are you saying that Yu's father wasn't here? It can't be. But that's only based on limited information from areas of files you can access, right? Sora, you said that there were other areas that you couldn't reach, right? Of course, that is correct. I am merely an interface program of Limit, and I am not permitted to access high security data. So, no records of Tanaka Yuichi might be there? Sora continued, responding to Sarah's question. That is a possibility that I can't deny. However, there is no such name on the company name list, accounting records, or any of the message logs exchanged with the local area network. As far as these are concerned, there's no record of Tanaka Yoichi. That can't be. I'm sure that my father worked here at Lemu. And besides, even if he wasn't here, that doesn't mean that he's dead, right? Correct. No, it is not correct. Tell me how you reached that theory. Nakyu, please calm down. Sarah grabbed Yu as she went to grab Sora. Yu was on the verge of losing reason and getting carried away by her emotions. I will explain my research and reasoning. But first, may I ask you a question? This may sound rude, but where did you hear that your father was an employee at Lemu? That your father disappeared when you were 1 year old. If that is a fact, then you should have no memories of your father. Am I wrong? No, you're right. I don't remember anything about my father. I don't remember us playing together or him holding me. But I'm sure that he was around until I was 1. There are pictures and films of that time, and I'm sure he was there. I'm sure that my mom had said so as well. So that was the case. Huh? So, it is about your mother. What is it? Why don't you say anything? It's because... What? It is difficult to say. It might be difficult, but you've already told me many difficult things. So tell me, what happened to my mother? You're sure? Yes. Then I will tell you. Your mother, Tanaka Yukie, passed away 15 years ago. Dun dun dun. No! What are you saying, Sora? How can you tell me that? It's just not possible. That is all I can tell you. The display on detailed documents on the screen. Please refer to them. Yu stumbled towards the display, sitting down in front of it. Sarah and I read on the display from over her shoulder. On the screen was a record from the company LAN. It was a notice of death. There was a file about office procedures related to Tanaka Yukie's death. There was a message log of messages exchanged among the employees about the notice of her death, and a funeral notice. And the next screen kept changing one image to the next. The next thing that was uploaded to the server read 2719. So it was on July 19th, 2002, 15 years ago. At the end of the files, what appeared was a record of an online conversation between employee Man A in the personal section of General Affairs Division and Woman B in the second section of the Research Division. Okay, so A was the guy and B was the woman, I guess. So the guy says, but it really was a shock. What was? I mean, about Yukie-san, Tanaka Yukie-san. Yeah. Yukie-san was so nice to me. That's right, she was your boss, right? Do you know the cause of death? TB. TB? Tiefblau. That again. It's the same as how her husband died. Her husband? Oh, what, you mean you didn't know? Is that so? But we really shouldn't talk about this at the company. Why? I'll tell you about it later. But Yuichi-san died 19 years ago, right? That's why we can't talk about it. I'm serious. And she had a child, the poor thing. She had a daughter, right? I feel so sorry for her. I checked to see when the log had been saved. It read 2719. That can't be. I won't believe it. I won't. I absolutely can't believe it. She shouted that, and Yu fled from the security office. Not you! Sarah followed after her. Sora and I remained behind. Did you understand? As I said before when I searched the database for the name Tanaka Yoichi, the data which I can access had no records. However, that chat log appears to be 15 years old. It seems to indicate that Tanaka Yukie-sama had a husband named Yoichi-san. Judging from the context of the document, I conjectured that if Yoichi-san had died 19 years before, that would mean 34 years before now. But the name Tanaka Yuichi doesn't appear in any of the other data. Why is it only here? I can only speculate from my limited knowledge. All records related to Tanaka Yuichi-san were erased for a reason. So please read the 14th and 15th line of this log one more time. A says, "What? Oh, you mean you didn't know? Is that so?" The flow of conversations seems unnatural. Yes. Originally, there seems to have been some text between these lines. So you mean that someone erased part of it? From A's comments, it would appear so. But Yuichi-san's name was left in B's comments. Oh, I see. And I have the choice of it's because it was in English or it's because it had an umlaut. And we know for a fact that it had an umlaut. It was weird. Maybe you didn't see that, but I saw it. It's on the text. What probably happened is that when the computer was searching, it automatically looked for Yoichi in Japanese and in English, erasing everything it found. However, B's comments were overlooked for some reason. And it's because his name was spelled as Yoichi with an umlaut. Correct! So I tried to look for other similar comments by B. It appears that she had a habit of using abbreviated words and spelling words in her own way with her communications with friends. It seems to be a particular style to her. There are numerous examples of her writing things such as "see you later" or "before" for before. She uses internet speak. Wow, what a revelation. As she spoke, Sora pulled up some samples of correspondences. But do you think that Tanaka-san is alright? Well, Sarah went after her, but I'm still kind of worried about her. I wonder if I shouldn't have told her after all. No, you did the right thing. No matter what the facts are, that's what you wanted to know, and you told her. Yu knows that. She's tough. She can take it. You know her well. No, not really. My face started to flush. I started to fidget uncomfortably. Don't you think you should go see how she is doing? Yeah, I will. And I will get back to the work that I was in the middle of. Oh, Sarah. Wait, there's just one more thing. Yes, what is it? I just wanted to say thanks for everything. Sora's cheeks seemed to redden a little bit and she smiled shyly. I only did what was expected of me, and if that makes everyone happy, then I know no greater joy. So, I'm tired. With the ultimate smile plastered on her face, Sora disappeared into the display. I left the empty security office and went in search of you and the others. Okay! What a revelation! What a fun time. Wonder what that means. Is Yu's mom dead? Was she talking about ghosts? Maybe all this time that she believes in science, maybe there's actually ghosts. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thanks for joining. I can't wait to see what happens next. I definitely know what's going to happen next, but it's exciting. Okay, goodbye!